Well, it took all week, but Congress has officially passed President Donald Trump's one big, beautiful bill. They did it yesterday afternoon, just in time for members of Congress to get home for Independence Day celebrations. And they did it after back to back sleepless sessions for both the House and the Senate. They got it done. We have a final breakdown for you in today's show. If you've been waiting for Washington to do something, anything actually, that actually puts you first. Well, maybe we found that moment because yesterday, and we're not talking about bureaucratic gridlock or partisan tantrums here. We're talking about a legislative victory for President Donald Trump, a real one. Yesterday afternoon, Congress officially passed what President Donald Trump has called his one big, beautiful bill. And folks, it is big and it is bold. And now it's headed to the president's desk just in time for the 4th of July signature that he's been asking for. So let me walk you through what happened. After weeks of backroom negotiations, public drama, midnight speeches, and the usual hand wringing that only Washington professional finger pointers can do, the bill finally made it through. It passed both chambers by razor thin margins, but it passed. Like in horseshoes, in this case, being close can get you there. And let's be clear, it wasn't just a budget or a resolution. This was a blueprint. It's the Trump agenda, from border security to tax cuts to crushing the Green New scam, all of it wrapped up into this big, beautiful bill. In the House, the final vote was 218 to 214. A narrow win, yep, but a win. Only two Republicans broke rank, and we knew those. Thomas Massey of Kentucky and Brian Fitzpatrick of Pennsylvania both voted no. Everyone else locked in, fired up, and ready to govern. Speaker Mike Johnson, who's taken more political shrapnel than most leaders in recent years, called it a defining moment, and he's right. He said, quote, "The president is very engaged. He helped answer questions and articulate his vision, how urgent it is for us to get this done." And they got it done. That urgency, it wasn't just political, it was economic, it was national, and it was moral. So here's what is all in wrapped up in this one big beautiful bill. First, taxes. Let's talk about the taxes. It locks in the lower income tax brackets from Trump's 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act permanently. We won't have to worry about this again. They're there forever or until another Congress changes it. It also includes new deductions for tipped workers and overtime wages. And let me say this again. If you work overtime, if you wait tables, if you bust your back in a service job, your taxes are going to go down. Now, tell me again how that's a tax cut for the rich, as Democrats want to convince you. Number two, energy. The bill scraps major parts of the Inflation Reduction Act, which had nothing to do with inflation to begin with, including green energy tax credits. The so-called climate incentives pushed by Joe Biden, they're gone. Instead, this legislation puts that money in American energy dominance so that we will not have to worry about this in the future. We're talking about oil, we're talking about gas, nuclear, the real stuff that keeps the lights on and the economy moving. Third, immigration and border security. The bill surges resources to ICE so they can do their job. It gives law enforcement the tools to track down and deport illegal immigrants, especially those with criminal records. And it strengthens asylum enforcement with new application fees and faster adjudication timelines. Trump's message is very clear. America comes first, the whole America First movement. Then let's move on to defense and national security. Massive new funding is going to the Pentagon. This is going to boost our readiness and deterrence all in the same time. No more hollow threats, no more paper tiger. This is about strength, real strength at home and abroad. Then the debt ceiling. Now, this is probably one bit of a disappointment. The bill raises the debt ceiling by $5 trillion. Again, it's not great. We're told it's necessary. So I'm going to trust them with that because without it, they say that we're staring down a possible credit default, maybe even later this summer if this wasn't done. President Trump made the hard call and he balanced it by saying that we're going to get into some additional spending cuts, and that was enough for some of the conservatives in Congress. So that's going to have to be enough for us for now. Six, social program reforms. And this is what we've been hearing the most of, probably. This is where it gets real interesting because the bill imposes new work requirements for Medicaid and food assistance. So if you're an able bodied adult, meaning you can work, you have no dependents, then you're going to have to go get a job or be looking for work to keep getting those benefits, because I don't want to keep working so you can have them and you can stay home and play video games. That's not being cruel. That's just common sense. All Americans need to pay their fair share. Of course, the left lost their minds on a lot of this. House Minority Leader, a slip of the tongue there, Hakeem Jeffries, called it a tax giveaway and blasted Republicans for debating the bill in the dead of the night. Quote, and this is what Hakeem Jeffries said: if Republicans were so proud of this big, ugly bill, as he called it, why did debate begin at 3:28 a.m.? A good question. Well, Hakeem, maybe because they were working. Maybe because Republicans don't care if it means all-nighters. They're going to get the job done. Maybe because, unlike your party, Mr. Jeffries, they're willing to go without sleep. They're willing to potentially miss being home for Independence Day celebrations with their family, if it means putting America first, if it means saving our economy. The bill had some moments. It almost didn't make it. Wednesday, it was in a bit of limbo. 5 Republicans voted against debating it. 8 didn't vote at all. Behind closed doors, it looked like the whole thing might fall apart after the Senate sent it over to the House. But then President Trump did what he does best. He stepped in. He started the direct negotiations. He hits Truth Social. He posted this: for Republicans, this should be an easy yes vote. Ridiculous. He called out some of those Republicans who had voted no or who had not voted. And behind the scenes, we're told he worked the phones. He was on the phones talking to some of these members of the House. He talked directly to holdouts. He was making his case. And eventually, they came back to the floor and they voted. Speaker Johnson said Brian Fitzpatrick is a trusted friend and he had convictions about parts of the bill. But even with Fitzpatrick voting no, the rest of the GOP got in line. Let me tell you what this means practically and politically. The bill is going to shape the 2026 midterms. Possibly, this may be the highlight of Trump's second term because it's setting the stage. It's laying the foundation for more to come. It gives conservatives something to run on. And it delivers on a lot of the promises that President Trump made during the 2024 election. It also shows a unified Republican Party. Not perfect, not without some drama, but we got it done. They got it done when it was needed. They got into the fight. They had some compromises, and they passed real legislation. And that's the most important thing here, is to get it done for the American people, just like President Trump promised. So the big, beautiful bill, just in time for 4th of July. I imagine there's going to be a lot of celebrating, and not just for Independence Day, at the White House.